Tell me, are you ready to find your weird way? Weird was a concept that was spoken of long ago. It meant fate, it meant destiny, it meant your path in life. I'm your host, Dean Bentley, and I am here to explore how you can connect to your own path in life, to know the essence of your own soul, to connect to that single spark that lives within the deepest recesses of your being that says, this is why I am here, to go beyond the limitations, the constrictions of the modern world, and open you to the possibilities and the potentiality of what is possible within this world. Join me as we dive deep on the Weird Way. Welcome back, Weird Ways. It is a pleasure to be back on with you all. I am jumping in for a solo cast. I feel very, very inspired today. I hosted the Soul Method workshop last night and it was phenomenal. This is a point of my work where I'm really getting to create in a way that is in alignment with myself and building out my own body of work. I know the Soul Method is becoming a modality and there's a lot of excitement around that. And so today I can feel a lot of that energy coming through me. And I wanted to speak today into burnout. This is something that was alive last night in the workshop and something I find so many people experience, something I've experienced, especially if you're in the entrepreneurial space, the business space, or just like really dedicated to building your vision. It is something that a lot of people experience and can be so hard to come back from, and it can be a little bit demotivating of like, I've done so much and I'm not there yet. I've got no energy. What the fuck is happening? And this was my own experience in the first 2 years or year and a half of the first full time in my business. I had this experience. I was doing well. I was making the money. Everything was flowing really smoothly for me. And it got to a point where I was working longer and longer hours. I was needing to make more and more money, and I was having less and less energy, and my bank account was going down. And so my solution to that at the time was to work harder, harder, and harder. And if you've been in this position, you know it too, where it's just like, there's only one way out, and that's just put your nose to the grindstone and push on through until you finally get to the other side. Now, there may be a point where that needs to happen, but if that's the only way you're operating, it will lead to burnout. It will lead to you being less than who you truly are because you will put so much energy into this that you will have nothing left to give and it will slowly destroy you. And for me, what happened in that situation, my business crumbled, my relationship crumbled. I lost a lot because I wasn't willing to see the signs and meet myself. So in this episode, I want to break down what burnout is, how you can meet it so you don't have to have that experience and you can actually go beyond this so you can create in an aligned way from a place of desire, going beyond the hustle because a lot of the hustle culture comes from a place of fear, and that is what I want to oppose and want to create something else. I want to create in a way where we get to say, this is what I'm here for, and I don't need to work it in a way that isn't aligned with my soul to make it happen. That's what we're doing here on the Weird Way, showing ways that you can create, that you can build in a way that is sustainable, that is supportive of you, and you don't need to be in that constant state of fear that lives within our default self, that lives in our primordial body. Because this is a conditioned response and it's in our primal body, and we want to transcend that layer of fear so we can create in a way that is more powerful, more creative, more potential is inside it, and actually go beyond a lot of the limited ideas of who you have to be and expand into who you really are. So let me break down burnout. Burnout is an experience. It's similar to the dark night of the soul, where our soul is calling out to us to pay attention to something that is occurring. And in this case, it is the fact that you have been working or living life in a way that is unaligned to who you truly are. At the core, this is burnout, and that may be confronting to hear because it's like, no, I was doing everything right. I was working hard. I was pushing. I was going to the gym. I was eating right. Why do I have low energy? This should be in alignment to me, right? Potentially. But it's not in alignment to your soul. It's aligned with the conditioned response of who you think you need to be. And the fact of the matter is, you're more than that, that you're something other than that. And you've been conditioned to feel like you need to do so much to achieve what you want to achieve because there's a part of you that still feels unworthy of having what they want to have in this world. Let that land. Burnout is a response to a condition of trauma, of unhealed part of you that believes it needs to be more to get the results that you want. Because still, even though you've probably done the work if you're listening to this podcast, still, some part of you does not feel good enough to have what they want. They still believe they need to do more, push harder, be more of a man, be more of a woman, do something else. Because you haven't allowed yourself to slow down and meet these parts of you that are screaming out. Because burnout, yes, you are running from something. Yes, you are on a hamster wheel and you believe that is financial. You believe that that is the business grind that is pushing you. But actually, it is you running from yourself. It is the part of you that is deeply terrified of meeting yourself, of acknowledging this pain that is so intense because it is. The pain of not feeling good enough, of not feeling worthy, of that child who was innocent and pure, who got that taken from them by whatever experience that occurred for you. That pain is intense. It is traumatic. It is a big emotion. But if you are running from it, it will always control you because you will be living in a state of fear, believing that you need to be more, that you need to be something else other than who you are. And you will continue to run, which will lead to you burnout again and again. For some people, they go through phases, and you may be one of them, where it's like you've burnt out, you gave yourself rest, and then you came back and did the same thing exactly again. Well, you didn't heal. You didn't solve that piece of the puzzle. You just allowed your body a reset to go again. And that's not what was required. What was required was you to meet this part of yourself that is still deeply afraid, that is hurting, and is in a trauma response. Burnout comes because we are unaligned and disconnected from ourselves. At the core, this is it. And there could be a million different reasons. You're doing too much, you have poor boundaries, you overcommit, you people please. These are all surface level problems. At your core, it is because you have not allowed yourself to love yourself deeply enough to meet these parts of you that are terrified of being slow, of stopping, of being still. Because they're terrified if you do slow, if you do stop, that people will leave you, that you will be neglected, that no one will love you, that you will be abandoned, rejected, you'll be a failure, whatever your taste is. But it's afraid. It's afraid. And you are the one who gets to love it. And you can't do that when you're running. You can't do that if you're chasing something outside of yourself and your soul knows it. So it may feel like the world is against you. It may feel like everything's against you, that the pain, the suffering, all of it, that it's wrong, that it's bad, that it shouldn't be happening, that how is this even fair? You've done everything right. Your soul is serving you right now. The universe is serving you, and that may not be what you want to hear. That may be confronting, that may hurt your ego, that may say, God, please, no. Can't there be another way? Surely I do not have to experience this. Surely. But you haven't been listening. You haven't listened to the subtle whispers that say, this isn't right, this isn't what I want to be doing. My soul is tired, it's screaming, why do I have to keep doing this? You haven't been listening. You haven't slowed enough to hear that subtle whisper, that part of you that says you want something more, that one that knows you don't have to work like this, that knows you don't have to push so hard, that knows there is another way. And so it's asking that you let all of this die. All the pressure, all the need to get somewhere, all the feelings that if it all collapses, you will be nothing. It's asking that you meet in that void, that emptiness, and realize that you are more than your business. You are more than your work. You are more than money. And when you're able to meet that, you'll begin to love yourself in a new way, where you recognize that you are enough, that you don't need to be more, that you don't need to chase to prove yourself, that you don't have to do that anymore. And it's safe for you to stop. It's safe for you to be you. And when you begin to realize this, you'll see that there's another way. And this may take some time. It may take some time for you to heal, for you to meet this, for you to realize that you get to be loved in the nothingness, that it's okay if you fail, it's okay if you go broke, it's okay if people leave, but in the end you will not leave yourself. Because for a long time you've externalized, you've given your power away, your love, saying someone else gets to determine if you can be loved, that if you are worthy. That is not the case. No one else can tell you if you're worthy of love. You already are. This is your divine nature. This is the essence of who you are. And to think anything else is to rob the divinity from your veins. Is to take away the essence of your being. And so you may be experiencing burnout, frustration, hopelessness of why is this happening? It's happening because you've been running from this fear that lives inside of you, this fear of yourself, these parts of yourself that are asking you to stop, slow down, and be with them, to take a breath. And no, nothing outside of you can control you unless you let it. That this fear can only control you when you run from it. And if instead, when you notice yourself running, you pause and you look it directly in the eyes and let it know it's welcome. It can be here. You can be afraid of going broke. You can be afraid of your relationship ending. You can be afraid of the world crumbling around you. And welcome it home. Because running hasn't worked. You've tried. You've tried a lot. And it hasn't served you. It hasn't got you where you want to go, and you know it. So this is an invitation to get to know the fear. Because this is a beautiful part of you that you've disowned. A child that said it wasn't welcome. A part of you that was told, don't be scared, put that away. And if you're listening to this, you know you're here to lead, you're here to create something else. And you're being asked to heal right now. You're being asked to change. You're being asked to transmute. Because the new way, it doesn't allow us to create from a place of fear. Because then we only create more fear. We only create more fear in this world. And that's not what you're here to do. You're here to lead a world of desire, of creation, of possibility. And first, you must meet your own fear. Meet your own fear of all that you tell yourself cannot be. Parts of you that want to control and intrude and make the world a certain way, that isn't the way. You are being asked to listen. Listen to yourself, to your own soul, and trust in its guidance, its intuition that knows there is another way. Because it may feel like the universe is against you, but I promise you on the other side of that door, it will show you that has always been in service to you and your highest good. That it's wanted you to be free, that you have always been free, but the conditioned responses of the mind and society and culture have told you you need to be a certain way, that you must work hard, that you must push yourself to the limits, that you are not worthy of it all. And that is a lie. That is the bullshit that impedes upon our bones, that constricts us and contorts us into ways we are not meant to be. So I ask that you listen now. Listen to yourself. And if you're in that state of running, to turn and face your fear, to not turn your back on it anymore. Because when you meet this, when you say this too is welcome, you will stop fighting. Stop fighting yourself, stop harming yourself, stop sacrificing yourself for your work, for anything outside of yourself. You will stop. And you will see that this was not the way for you, that there is another way. And you are being asked to live that now. You are being asked to show that you believe a new way is possible. So I ask that you listen, that you pause, and you heed the call of your own soul, knowing that it is serving you and it is okay to rest. That you get rest. And that when you rest, you recognize your innate wholeness, your innate power, your innate wealth, health, and all you are. Because in your natural state, you are whole, you are provided for. And so come home to yourself and recognize burnout is an invitation back home, and you're being called there so you can be true to your heart, to your soul, and all that you are. Wyrd ways, I see you, I honor you, I know the journey you are on. I know what it takes to lead. I know what it takes to live in this world, the one that would try and change us. I know you get to be you. You get to be all that you are. And this is what we're here to do. We're here to weave the Wyrd way, the way back home, the way to our souls, the way to our destinies. So trust that you are on the path. I see you. I see who you are. And if you know someone needs this message, send it their way. Too many of us suffer alone. Too many of us go with our voices unheard. So that you know, let them know you see them. With love, it's a pleasure to be of service. Dean, signing out.